past literal 4 days, I have been sick out of my mind. Like Christmas I was sick, Christmas Eve before that I was like almost sick, but like could function. Christmas, out of it. So I have been kind of quiet, and I figured what better way than to jump back into content creation and all of that, since I took a few days off, than to film a get ready with me as well as just a chit chat, because I spoke to my psychic again and I had some really amazing insight that I feel I should share with you guys. I'm still a little stuffy, so bear with me, but I feel like doing this together will help me feel a little more normal. I have to refresh my curls, so I'll show you guys that. We're hanging out, best friends hanging out, that's what's happening. So I'm actually going to start with this. Dr. Dennis Gross actually sent me their a bunch of products, but this is their like alpha beta peel. Everyone I've ever seen use this loves this product, so I'm really excited about it. My skin went through something weird right before I got sick, so I really just want to like take a little extra care. You're supposed to use this twice a day, so I think it's twice a day. Yes, twice a day. So I'm going to start with step 1, which is exfoliate and smooth. And you're supposed to just take this little napkin, it's not a napkin, it's towelette, shall we call it, and just go to work around your face until it's all dried up. So, like I was saying, I honestly was really sad about the holidays that I got sick, because I don't get sick very often, and Christmas is my favorite holiday of all, and I think I just, like everything else in my life, I put a lot of pressure on it to be like perfect, and me and Sean's have the best time, and instead of us living our true Christmas story dream, I was literally half asleep, or if I wasn't asleep, I was like sneezing and coughing and just gross. So I was a little disappointed about that. But while all that like sick craziness was going on, I was gonna say blow up. It felt like I blew up on Instagram Reels, but I did. I gained a lot more followers on Instagram, and just because a few of my Reels were doing really well, they still are. So I went from 12,000 followers to 15, which for me and for Instagram, it feels like blowing up. And I am just so grateful and in shock, but above all else, so grateful. And that'll actually lead me into what I was wanting to say before, was about how I spoke to my psychic today. And it was really weird. Like a couple weeks ago, we were interrupted. So I just finished doing step 1. You're supposed to leave it on for like a minute or two, let your face, I guess, sit, which to be honest has already passed, so we're going to go right into step 2, and it is literally the same thing. You just take number 2 out and you rub it all over your face. What I'm going to say before is, a few weeks ago, I don't know what clicked in my brain, but I started really viewing my career, like, how do I say this? My, like, immediate reaction when thinking about my career, instead of being in a state of, like, oh, fuck, like, how am I gonna do this? It became, like, oh, I'm gonna do this. And I don't know how that switch in my brain flicked, but I went from, like, having such stress about the unknown with my career to having, like, such certainty and, like, what's meant to be will happen, which is like the outlook I always like to have, but I think I lost it for a while, and I don't know where it like came back. So I had to call my psychic, and she, oh god, I love this woman. I love how she runs her calls. And if you're not a spiritual person, like, you may not necessarily like get how she talks. Like, I don't think she's for everybody. I think she's for the very spiritually woke to like really understand and like download those messages. But I recommend her to everybody because I think everyone should give her a shot. So the initial thing she tells me was pretty much saying how this is a period of my life where I'm almost like going down into the basement and like looking at my foundation and making sure everything is in order. I'm not like, nothing is breaking, I'm fixing what's broken. I'm really just like setting up the foundation of my life for like what I want for the next step, right? And what's crazy is I think that has completely been what I've been doing, is more so looking at what's working, what's not working, and like fixing it, tweaking it, whatever. And the reason I say that is because I think a big part of like what was blocking me from like my financial abundance or the confidence that I needed for my career was because I was allowing those insecurities and those thoughts to like almost like put up these barriers that were stopping me from like reaching my like full potential or for the next stage, if that makes sense. So it was crazy that she said that. And when she said that, she meant it in every facet of my life, whether it was relationships, work, my day-to-day life, etc. And that really kind of is what kicked off my call with her. And I think that message is just so powerful, right? Because I had so much doubt, and now out of nowhere that switch flicks, and I am feeling way more certain about things than I ever have before, and I'm feeling way more like sure of myself, which it had been forever since I felt sure of myself. Then we got into talking about just like what my career looks like, because I jokingly said this a while ago, but people keep kind of bringing it up that saw it, and I was saying how I am not the aesthetic influencer, and I feel like I even mentioned it in one of these past videos. And I think more so, rather than saying I'm just not the aesthetic influencer, is saying that I think I approach influencing a lot differently than a lot of people do. I genuinely share what makes my heart feel excited and happy, and that could be clothing, that could be like a story time, that could be anything, a little vlog, with the hopes that it reaches women that I am aiming to inspire and empower to love their bodies, like love their mind, like feel confident on the day-to-day, listen to their intuition. Like that is my goal. So it was nice to like have her pretty much reassure that that was like correct. Like my bigger purpose on this planet and like why I am a creator and the type of creator that I am, it's gonna all pay off. And you guys, you're out there. Not all of you have found me yet, but the rest of you will eventually. Next, I am gonna go in with the Clarins Double Serum. I featured this in the video talking about the beauty items that changed my 2022, and I really do use this every day. So I'm just gonna rub this all over my face and neck before going in with a new moisturizer that I'm trying and an eye cream. So I'm breaking out in a rash. My life is a mess right now. I love how glowy this leaves you. And now I am going to use the CEO Afterglow. It's the Vitamin C Brightening Cream from Sunday Riley. I have yet to figure out why the scent of this product is so nostalgic to me. I think it smells like something I used to use when I was younger at Lush. But it smells so good. I'm using a lot of brightening products lately, and like anti-aging. I feel like that's the goal for me right now. I just want bright skin, vibrant skin, and I want to be young forever. Another thing that my psychic and I were talking about, or that she was like giving me insight on, was my whole like living situation. So I know I've referenced our small ass apartment a few times in a few videos, but we really do have a freaking small apartment. And although I am very grateful for it, because the apartment we were living in prior to this was actually, the house was being sold. So like, although our past landlord was like, no, you have nothing to worry about, very quickly, if we had not moved, we would have had a lot to worry about, because the house sold very quickly, and we found out from the other tenants that they pretty much wanted the whole house, like all the apartments. So we would have been fucked. thankfully, my dad has a multifamily home. This is actually the Glow Oasis Probiotics and Triple Peptide Eye Cream. I always kind of find myself going back to this one, but this is it. So my dad has a multifamily home, and his apartment was still empty and available, so we've been renting from my dad. My dad, unfortunately, is, I don't want to say unfortunately, I love my dad, but my dad is not the type of dad to like throw you a bone, really. He is giving us like a discount, I guess, on rent, considering like how much this area would be, but we're definitely like paying rent rather than being able to just save all that extra money. But anyways, thankfully he lives here and we're able to rent this apartment. And although this neighborhood and this apartment has shown us what we need in our next home and what are kind of deal breakers for like the neighborhood we live in and stuff, and although it's freaking small and a lot of times it can be very overwhelming having us, our 2 cats, and the dog in such a small space, I'm grateful to have it. But she did say we will be getting our home next year, and that is kind of going to be where she advised. That's where I focus all my energy, because Sean has really been focusing hard on saving up for the wedding. And she advised that I put my focus on the thing that matters the most. And she could tell that what matters the most is having a home. Living here has been a real trial for my mental health, because I haven't really had the space to be able to work as efficiently and creatively as I would like to, and to shoot as creatively as I'd like to. But at least I can shoot, and at least I have Wi-Fi, and at least I have all of that. But it has really been a struggle, and I thankfully feel like I finally gotten out of the rut, and I'm feeling hopeful, and I'm feeling like I see the light at the end of the tunnel. But before that, it didn't feel that way. So I'm very excited to be able to know that I am in fact going to be able to buy a home. That is so life-changing to me, and I am so excited, especially because our wedding is going to be February 2024, so to buy a house 2023, and she said fall 2023 she saw us finding our soul home. Like, that's going to be so cool. So this is Grande Buff. I received it in a package from Grande Cosmetics. It's just a little sample, but it's their lip exfoliator. I used a little yesterday. I'm just trying to use it because I hate letting little packets like this go to waste. I really liked it yesterday, but I will say I like the Kopari lip scrub a little bit better with the coconut oil. But I'm gonna buff our lips because since I was sick, I am so chapped. Like my nose, my lips, everything. It's gross. I don't know if I'm allowed to just like lick this off though. I don't know. It doesn't really. The Kopari one is like coconut oil, so I'm like, oh, I can lick it. This one, I don't think so. I'm gonna wipe it. Let me get a reusable little pad. So now let's go into some light makeup while we continue to have our girl time. So for makeup today, I'm gonna try to keep it like pretty light. I do have dinner later. It's my sister's birthday. She's turning 20. But I also I'm still recovering. I don't want to wear all that. So I'm actually going to put a little bit Smashbox Photo Finish primer on. I like the way that this blurs my pores. So I'm just going to focus this on my T-zone. So that way I have a little bit more of a blurring effect. Because I think I'm going to only really use some concealer, and I'm not going to use foundation. So talking about my future home, who I am so excited to meet. She did tell me that, so first she asked where I was located geographically, because she has to make friends. She never remembers. And honestly, it makes it easy, and I think it makes it easier to trust her that she doesn't remember. But I reminded her that I'm in New York. She asked where we were looking for homes, and I told her how we kind of we're thinking, we talked about Pennsylvania, because we really are trying to stay within a budget for everything, especially this first home. So I mentioned how we were looked at Pennsylvania. We were talking about possibly going back to New Jersey, where we used to live, either more north New York or Connecticut. And she gave some great insight as to like what she saw for us. I'm literally using my viewfinder to do my makeup today, sorry guys. This is where I put my concealer. And in case you're wondering, this concealer is like $5. It is the NYX HD Studio Photogenic. This is in the shade CW2, so it's one of their lightest shades. But I think it works well for me for winter time, so that's what I'm using. So after I told her like where we kind of were theorizing moving, she did kind of like give some really helpful insight, because last time I spoke to her, I asked her a very similar question. Let me get my mirror. Last time I spoke to her, I asked her a very similar question, but she gave me a lot more of an answer, and she just said we were in the right vicinity. But I guess I also did not ask a very specific question. I should preface it with that. We would not be leaving the tri-state area. Northeast was where we belonged, and she said that the place where we would move would be like unfamiliar to us. So it wasn't anywhere where we were super comfortable, super familiar. This time, she asked where we were thinking. I told her those states that we were looking at, and she gave some really good insight. First of all, she said straight up no to Pennsylvania. Her guides were like, no! So, no, we're not going to Pennsylvania. She said energetically, like it would not work. There's nothing wrong with Pennsylvania, but for me and Sean, it is not the right move. And she said Connecticut. And she said the places we would be interested in Connecticut would be kind of out of our price range for what we're looking for. So we really want to get at least a 3-bedroom house. We want a backyard, things like that. And pretty much saying like within our budget that we're working in for Connecticut, like we wouldn't be happy with what we could get for the price. So noted. She did mention Connecticut might not be a bad move later on, but right now for first home, not the vibe. Then she said New Jersey was kind of like an immediate, like, yes, that's your top choice. Start looking there. And then number 2 would be like kind of more so upstate-ish New York. Not really upstate, but like if you know like Peekskill, like that's as far as I would go on that side of New York. Or if we're talking like New Jersey, New York border, like Warwick, like those areas, if you guys are familiar. Another helpful thing she gave insight on, this is the Refi setting powder that I raved about before. So I'm just using that to set my under eye before I go in with a cream blush. I actually asked her if she could see kind of like how far this home was from like where our friends and family were, because we were kind of like a little hesitant about going too far, especially Sean, and we just weren't sure. Like, so I asked her if she had any insight. I'm adding a little bit of setting spray. This is the Bia Daily Hydrating Setting Mist, and she actually gave great insight on that too. She said she saw us moving about an hour to 90 minutes away from kind of like where the majority of our friends and family are. Now that is great to know, because she also said that we were going to end up moving someplace that was kind of like more on the outskirts of the suburbs, or like right in the suburbs, like really not anywhere super rural, which for a hot second, Sean and I were fantasizing about moving into the middle of the woods and living cottage fantasy life. So it's nice to know that that's not the vibe for us just yet. So I feel like I got like a good starting point, you know what I mean? And I know that when the time is right, this house is going to find us while we're looking, and I'm going to really know which one is the one for us. She did advise, you know, don't rush into anything. Like, my spirit guides don't want you to rush into things, because, you know, you really need to make sure, like, this looks crazy. I'm going to explain why I look like this soon. You really want to make sure that where you're going, like, has everything that you need, and you don't feel like you're just rushing into something because you found something. And I think that's really important to know. So this is the Undone Beauty. It's the lip and cheek palette. I just use it for cheek. This is in the shade 325 Flare. As you can see, I kind of just like made it like there and there, and then my nose. I'm going to take this brush, which I use to blend out my concealer, and I'm going to just blend it out so it looks less crazy and more intentional. So just like a light blush moment. I'm now going to go in with some bronzer, and for that I'm using my tried and true Undone Beauty Warm Up Bronzer. You can tell this is well loved. It is in the shade 550. I'm going to grab a fluffier brush to apply this. I'm grabbing this one. This is like a Morphe brush. It doesn't have a number, but a fluffy one. It's a fluffy one. So it's really relieving to know that like all this hard work I'm putting in is gonna pay off, and we're gonna have a place of our own very soon, because I really am the first to do a lot of things in my family, and I really am working hard to break a lot of like generational cycles. Like my parents, for example, they didn't own their homes till they were in their 40s, and my grandparents never owned a home on my dad's side. My grandparents on my mom's side owned their home, but then like they didn't pay, my grandpa didn't like pay it or something, like it was gonna get taken over by the bank, so then my aunt and uncle took it. Regardless, not my business. But anyway, my family doesn't have a good track record with like homes, right? Like they either don't obtain them or they don't keep them. So I'm really glad I'm gonna like break that cycle, and right before our wedding, hopefully, if nothing in the universe changes and like this pattern that I'm on and this trail that I'm on towards that goal, nothing switches energetically, hopefully I'll still be able to make that dream become a reality, and we'll be able to have a home right before our wedding. Which I think another great reason why I talked to my psychic today was because she really reminded me, like, it is easy if you are engaged. It is very easy to get caught up in wedding TikTok and feel inspired and love a lot of trends, but trends are expensive. Things are expensive. And I very quickly realized how easy it is for the budget of a wedding to climb up and up and up. And I think this call I had with her was a reminder that, like, the wedding is just a party, and Sean and I don't need all this craziness to be able to like have a great wedding. I don't need all these weird little details. Yes, they would be beautiful, but like they're not completely necessary when looking at the bigger picture and what I want out of our wedding, which is just to celebrate Sean and I. And she brought up a good point. Sean and I feel like we're married already, so this wedding doesn't change that fact. All it is a celebration of love. So I probably should dial it back a little, recenter myself, and remind myself that, you know, the home is where I need to focus my energy. The wedding, yes, I can have fun doing the wedding, but the wedding does not need to be the most grand, beautiful thing. Thankfully, we've already picked out a lot of stuff, but it doesn't, all the little details that cost so much, we don't need to worry about that. I'm just going to grab a fluffier brush. This is a Morphe R38. It's just like this really fluffy brush, and I'm just going to use that to contour my nose just a little bit. Wedding planning has been really fun, but it is important not to lose yourself in like the fantasy of it all, and remind yourself that there is in fact a budget, and the budget is there for a reason, and all these little bright ideas, because I love this shit. I love thinking about little details, and this is why I used to do PR, because like it was such a detail oriented business to like make whole plans and mailers and all of that. It's detail oriented. It was so fun to me, but I need to know when to like draw the line, so I can scale back a little. I can, and it'll be okay. I use this ColourPop highlighter. It is in the shade Flip Flop, and it is part of this, whatever this line was for them. They look like you can hardly see it, but I promise you it's there. But if you guys are wanting wedding updates, these are the things that have been happening. I scheduled my dress appointment, which I am so excited for, in February. So I had to book the tickets. I actually have to fly out to Michigan for it. because I'm going to be partnering with a bridal salon over there, which, how cool is that? Like, my job is allowing me to work with a bridal salon to show you guys the dresses they have. That's so freaking cool. But anyway, I'm going to be going there in February with my mom, hopefully my sister, and my best friend. My dad is trying to get off, which, to be honest, it kind of scares me because my mom and my dad don't really get along, divorced parent-ish. And this wedding has actually been giving me a lot of anxiety as to like what their dynamic is like, because there are going to be a lot of events they have to both be at, and especially with like my dad's new wife, and I just hope everyone is normal and not awkward or weird. So this is one of those first events where I'm like, please no one be awkward or abnormal or weird. Let's all get along and be adults about this situation. Now I'm gonna grab the ColourPop Fairy Well palette. Now you guys know I don't use a ton of eyeshadow, but I've been really into some of these cool tone browns, which this palette has. So I'm gonna just like, I think it's this one. I use this one all over the eye, and that's literally it. I'm into the shade Flower Crown. It's a like gray brown, and I'm literally just gonna apply it on my eye and just leave it at that. I also have been like scouring the internet for deals and stuff for the wedding, so we did get some good stuff on Black Friday for that. I will say I am pretty grateful that I am a creator and I can partner with brands on a lot of things, but I too am making sure that I don't go over the budget. I feel like if our wedding ends up going, like, I know someone who their wedding is probably going to cost $100,000, and for me, like, I just don't see the value in that. Like, I'd much rather that money go towards our house, so I'm trying to keep everything, like, within a number that, like, sure, it scares me a little bit, not gonna lie, but it also, I think, after the wedding, I'll be really grateful that I spent it. You know, like, I won't be, like, regretting how much money I invested in the wedding. I'll be like, okay. Like I said, my lips are dry, so I think I'm just gonna put on this Rowan lip gloss. It's in the shade Remy. It's their liquid lip. It's actually a lip balm, which is why I'm using it. And it's tinted ever so slightly. So I'm going to put that on, and I'm going to do, and then the last thing I'm going to do is lashes and just put on a little bit of brow gel because my brows are permanent. So for brows, I'm going to do the Refi Clear Brow Sculpt Gel. You guys, if you saw my other video talking about the beauty products that changed my 2020, this was on there. I was contemplating even doing a dress change, and I love that idea, but I don't need to spend money on that. I can just wear my wedding dress and have a good time. So I am really, guys, I'm really paring down here because I saw myself getting lost in the excitement of this all, and now I'm like, hello, Jaina, you didn't want a $100,000 wedding. Like, there's a number to worry about. You gotta worry about the number. This is my tried and true favorite Tower 28 Make Waves mascara. I am so sad it's drying up, but I'm going to use it until it doesn't work anymore. So I'm just going to put this on my eyes. And then what else did my dear psychic tell me? So she had me refocus on the wedding and my finances. She told me that my money energy was still looking good, so I can continue to try to work on like not letting the fear of a bad financial situation like ruin my outlook on my career. People used to tell me to be an influencer, which is a really funny thing to say, right? Because I don't know how one day people just like wake up and are like, I'm gonna be a creator, and then they fucking kill it. I don't think that is why I don't think I could have done it that way, but I used to be told like, no, you could do this, you could be a creator, and I would just like shake it off, be like, yeah, maybe one day, because my confidence just wasn't there. And all it took was like my spiritual awakening and realizing that like my purpose on this planet was to share things that were bigger than myself, right? Like, if I try on a dress and I talk about how fabulous it is, yeah, it's because I think it's fabulous, but the bigger part of that is now somewhere someone is going to see a body type that they resonate with and that looks like theirs, wearing a dress and it looking good. The fact that someone can flip on Instagram, flip on TikTok, and happen across one of my fashion videos and be like, I look like her and she looks great, so I look great. I can't cry, but I could cry, because what that would have done to like younger me, you know, like how that would have changed the course of the way I viewed my life. So my makeup is done, so let's go over how I refresh my curls. This is what they're looking like. They looked really good yesterday. I'm not even gonna lie, because it was wash day. But this is kind of like what we're working with. It's not so bad, but I do feel like it's looking a little frizzy. So first step is I'm going to spray some water just in, and I'm not going to do too much, because realistically, like, my hair doesn't look that bad. I will say, these bangs that I cut myself, they curled a little weird, and then I used my curling iron to kind of touch them up, and now they just look even weirder. So I'm going to fix those up with my curling iron, and I'll show you how I kind of make sure everything looks blended. Let me go and grab a lighter curl cream I have, because that's what I use to just refresh, because it's super moisturizing but not super like dense, because this is the curl cream that I will use just to touch up my hair. So this is the Love Your Curls all-in-one. It is repair, hydrate style, and it comes out almost like a serum rather than a curl cream, and I'm just going to take that and kind of run it across the top of my curls, making sure to just separate them and not like mash everything together. This is what they're looking like wet, and I'm going to do the same thing to this side, so it's just a little more refreshed, refined. Now I'm going to just grab my curling iron, and I'm going to show you guys how I touch up the front pieces to look less like frizzy, weird, like that. Got my curling wand. This is the Dry Bar Mixologist tool. I love this thing. It comes with 3 attachments. This is the smallest wand, and I have it set to 360. Don't ask me why. I don't know. I'm not very specific on the temperature. So I'm going to start by first kind of separating the places that need help on my head. And what I'm going to do is take these shorter bang pieces, and I'm just going to literally curl them away. And I don't hold it for very long. I just kind of hold it for a few seconds and then let it go. And I feel like it'll just blend in a lot better than this like stretched out curl it's got going on. So yeah, that's kind of like how I leave them. Like I said, my hair's still a little damp, but I'm just going to do the other side really quick. Oh, I will also note, look, make sure your curl is like flat. Cute. I'm going to get dressed. Our makeup is done. Our hair is done. Let me pick out an outfit. I think I already know a bodysuit I'm going to wear that I found on Amazon. It's supposed to be a great skin stoop. I haven't tried it yet, so we'll try it together. But I need to find some pants and some shoes, so please hold. This is a new angle for us. I'm going to keep it comfy tonight because I am recovering still. So this is what I'm wearing. This is what I picked out. Bodysuit from the brand Almere over on Amazon. I will have it tagged in the link down below so you guys can check it out under Amazon Fashion Finds. It's supposed to be a Skims bodysuit dupe, and then I think I'm gonna put on these Levi's. Alright, if you're a mid-sized curvy girl, sometimes, you know, there's just that one pair of jeans that are like the only ones you feel fit you right and the only ones you will wear for a while. They're super comfy. They are Levi's rib cage boot cut jeans. So they're mid-wash. I got a size 31. They have a button-up fly, which I know isn't the most convenient, but most importantly, they have enough stretch to them. I'm going to wear this with the bodysuit and probably a cute pair of sneakers, which I have yet to pick out. I'm going to keep it really simple. Okay, so it's officially decided. I am going to wear. I am dressed. This bodysuit was not easy to get on, and I don't like that it shows the straps, but I'm committed to the process. I would say if you are shopping, this bodysuit size up. So I got a large. I maybe could have done with an extra large and been good. Okay, thank you guys so much for watching this video and getting ready with me and just talking all things, literally everything. I love you all so much and I'm so grateful for you. If you liked this style video, give it a thumbs up, make sure you subscribe, and leave me a comment down below. Like, do you want to learn more about spirituality? Do you want to learn more about becoming an influencer? I am really wanting to do more like interactive Q&As, so let me know what you think. I will see you guys next time.